Hey guys, welcome back to Mind Your Conversions, brought to you by Fiverr. If you're new here, this is where we break down the art and science of marketing with our hosts, Liv and Max. They will help you understand marketing better, explore fresh strategies, and most importantly, drive higher conversions. So whether you're a seasoned pro, or even if you're just getting started, you're at the right place.
All right, so you're looking to optimize your landing pages for better conversions. Excellent choice. We've got a stack of expert advice from a recent guide called Landing Page Best Practices, Top Tips to Optimize Conversions. And we're here to break down, I guess, like the absolute must-know no WS, for you.
That's right. And before we even dive into those specific tactics, I think it's important to understand the current conversion landscape.
Okay.
Like, where are we at?
Yeah, let's unpack that.
HubSpot data shows that the average landing page conversion rate is actually only 5.89% across industries,
Wow.
with 10% being considered like a good benchmark.
Less than 6%. I mean, that really emphasizes why getting this right is so crucial.
Absolutely. Think about it. Every time someone lands on your page, right, and they bounce without taking any action, that's a missed opportunity. By following these best practices, you're essentially tilting the odds in your favor.
So improved landing page experience means fewer people bouncing, which gives our offer a fighting chance.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just preventing those bounces. We're talking about, boosting your credibility, building trust with those visitors, and ultimately driving more leads, more sales, and ultimately more revenue.
More revenue. Okay, now you're speaking my language. But with mobile traffic being so dominant these days, mobile optimization has to be a top priority, right?
Absolutely. Mobile is huge. Studies show that mobile users actually convert at higher rates than desktop users. So that mobile-first approach is essential.
Makes sense. And speaking of making data-driven decisions, I'm intrigued by the idea of A/B testing. How can we use that to optimize our landing pages?
A/B testing is a game changer. It allows you to compare different versions of your landing pages, like tweaking the headlines, button colors, and see which variation performs better based on actual real user data.
So we're essentially letting the data guide our decisions, and we're, taking the guesswork out of it.
Precisely. That's the beauty of a data-driven approach. And speaking of data-driven, let's talk about social proof.
Okay, I've heard that social proof is essential, but I'm curious to know, why?
Well, think about it this way. Have you ever hesitated to buy something online because it had 0 reviews?
Yeah, of course.
Right. We all kind of crave that reassurance from others, and that's really where social proof comes in.
Yeah, that's so true. I'm way more likely to trust a product or service if I see positive reviews from, real people.
Yeah. And the data backs it up. A Power Reviews survey found that a staggering 98% of customers actually rely on reviews when making purchase decisions. And a lot of shoppers, they'll just abandon a purchase if there are no reviews.
98%. Okay, so social proof isn't just a nice to have, it's a must have.
Absolutely. And there are so many creative ways to actually incorporate social proof on your landing pages.
Yeah.
Testimonials, trust badges, star ratings, case studies. These can all build trust and credibility.
I love how Trainual features customer testimonials, with photos and names right on their landing page. It adds a level of authenticity. It humanizes the brand.
That's a great example. And don't forget about showcasing impressive stats. Things like 1,000 plus happy customers served, or 98% customer satisfaction. These can speak volumes.
So instead of just saying, our product is awesome, we can back it up with real data, real social proof. Okay, so what else can we do to make our landing pages irresistible?
Remember, it's not about boasting about features. It's about really highlighting benefits. People care about how your product or service is going to improve their lives.
Yeah, it's not about the bells and whistles. It's about how those bells and whistles make life better.
Exactly. Instead of listing those technical specs, focus on the outcomes, the solutions you provide. Like, how will your product save them time or money or effort? How will it actually solve their pain points?
That makes so much sense. So how do we make the shift towards benefit-driven copy on our landing pages?
So one fantastic example is Clay.com. Their headlines and subheadings, they're all about the benefits. They don't focus on features, just benefits the user will get. For example, instead of saying, our software has advanced reporting capabilities, you could try something like, make data-driven decisions with ease using our intuitive reporting tools.
Yeah.
You see the difference.
Oh, yeah. That second one is way more compelling. I can immediately see how it benefits me.
Right. And don't underestimate bullet points.
Bullet points are a classic.
They're your secret weapon for presenting those benefits in a clear, concise way.
And speaking of making things clear, I think it's time we talk about SEO. I know getting found in those search engines is crucial, but how do we, optimize our landing pages for SEO without getting lost in all the technical jargon?
That's a great question. SEO for landing pages is all about getting that free organic traffic, flowing in. And one key strategy is focusing on relevant keywords.
Okay. Keywords are important, but I've heard some horror stories about keyword stuffing. How do we use those keywords effectively without sounding like a robot?
You're right to be cautious about keyword stuffing. It's important to use keywords strategically and, naturally. Think about how your target audience would actually search for your product or service and incorporate those keywords into your headlines, subheadings, body copy.
So it's about being both informative for search engines and engaging for, us humans.
It is a little bit of a balancing act.
Yeah.
And don't forget about optimizing your images for SEO too, with descriptive file names and alt text. Plus, make sure those images are compressed for fast loading, which is good for SEO and user experience.
Okay, so we're making sure those images are working hard for us, not just looking pretty. What about internal links? I know those are good for SEO in general, but how do they apply to landing pages?
Yeah, internal links are valuable for those landing pages too. They help those search engines understand the structure of your website, and they improve user experience by providing those relevant pathways to other content. It's all about guiding those visitors and making it easy for them to kind of explore your site.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together. Keywords, images, internal links. Check, check, check. Now let's talk about making things personal. I'm intrigued by the idea of personalization, but I'm curious to know, how impactful is it really?
Personalization is a game changer. Remember that time you landed on a website that felt like it was reading your mind?
Oh, yeah.
That's personalization in action, and it can really impact those conversions.
It definitely makes me feel more valued when a website remembers my name or it shows me products based on my, past browsing history.
Yeah. It's not just about making people feel good, though. Stats show that 71% of consumers actually expect personalized experiences, and 76% get frustrated when it's lacking.
Wow. Those are some powerful statistics. So we're not just talking about a nice-to-have feature, we're talking about meeting those expectations and avoiding frustration.
Exactly. Personalization not only boosts conversions, but it also increases the likelihood of repeat customers.
Okay, I'm sold. But how do we actually personalize landing pages? Where do we even begin?
There are tons of creative approaches. One effective tactic is location-based targeting. Imagine tailoring your messaging based on someone's location.
Ooh, that's smart. Like if someone's browsing from Florida, we could highlight our swimwear collection.
Precisely. Another cool tactic is using dynamic text. So you adapt those landing page headlines to match a visitor's search query. It creates like an instant connection. It makes the page feel hyper-relevant to their needs.
Oh, so if someone searches for project management software for small businesses, our headline could dynamically change to say, the best project management solution for growing teams.
You got it. And of course, we can't forget about those personalized CTAs. Even a simple welcome back, name can go a long way.
Oh, it makes you feel like they're rolling out the red carpet just for you. What about using user behavior data for product suggestions? That seems pretty effective too.
Absolutely. If you have data on past purchases, browsing history, why not recommend products they might actually be interested in? Similar to Amazon's, customers who bought this also bought.
That's a genius tactic. And speaking of genius tactics, let's talk about turning those pesky problems into selling points.
Ah, yes. The art of pain point targeting. It's all about connecting with your audience on a deeper level by, understanding and addressing their challenges.
It's like saying, I get you, I understand your struggles, and I have the solution.
Exactly. Basecamp's landing page is a fantastic example of this. They brilliantly use those pain points to showcase the value of their project management software. Instead of just listing those features, they highlight the problems those features solve.
That's interesting. What are some practical tips for effectively leveraging those pain points on our own landing pages?
First and foremost, know your audience, inside and out. Conduct thorough research to identify their common challenges. This might involve surveys, feedback forms, or social media listening.
So we need to get inside their heads, understand those deepest desires, their frustrations.
Precisely. Once you have a grasp of those pain points, you can start crafting empathetic copy that actually acknowledges those problems, and provides solutions. It's not about dwelling on the negative, but rather offering a path to relief.
So it's not just about poking at sore spots, it's about offering, a balm for those sore spots.
Exactly. And visuals can be super effective here too. Before and after photos or videos showing your product in action, really drive the point home.
And what better way to demonstrate that problem-solving prowess than through those customer testimonials?
You're right. Showcase those stories of how your product or service helped real people overcome real challenges. It combines the power of social proof and pain point targeting.
Oh, powerful combination. And speaking of powerful combinations, let's add a sprinkle of storytelling magic to the mix. Who doesn't love a good story?
Storytelling is incredibly powerful, especially in marketing. But on landing pages, we need to go beyond just telling a story. We need to pull people in and show, not just tell.
I'm intrigued. How do we achieve that?
Think about Dropbox. Their landing page features a simple but brilliant GIF that perfectly demonstrates, the functionality. No lengthy explanations needed. The visual does all the talking.
The power of visual storytelling. What other tactics can we use?
Explainer videos are fantastic. They break down those complex concepts in a clear, engaging way. And interactive elements like GIFs, sliders, or even timelines can guide users through your process in a more dynamic way.
So instead of just reading about our product, people can actually experience it virtually.
Exactly. And if you really want to get creative, try gamified elements like quizzes that lead to personalized recommendations. It's fun, it's engaging, and it's a great way to showcase your expertise and help people find the perfect solution.
Quizzes are always a hit. What about customer journey stories? Can we use those on landing pages?
Absolutely. Those customer journey stories can be incredibly effective. Use timelines or maps to visually represent the transformation customers experience when using your product or service.
So instead of just saying, our product will change your life, we can actually show them how.
Precisely. Now let's move on to another crucial element: crafting an irresistible value proposition.
Okay, first impressions matter. We need to grab attention from the get-go and make it crystal clear what's in it for them.
Absolutely. Think of it like a storefront window. You need to showcase your most appealing offerings to entice those people to come inside.
So no burying the lead. We need to make it immediately clear what value we offer. What are some examples of landing pages that do this well?
Opt-in Monster is a great example. Their landing page, it instantly showcases their value proposition. You know right away what they do and how they can help.
Got it. Clarity and speed are key.
Exactly. And speaking of speed, we can't overlook the importance of page load speed. In the online world, every second counts. Slow-loading landing pages lead to lost customers and decreased conversions.
You're preaching to the choir. If a page takes too long to load, I'm hitting that back button faster than you can say conversion rate.
And you're not alone. Research from Portent actually reveals that conversion rates plummet dramatically as page load times increase.
So we need to make sure our landing pages are loading at, lightning speed. But how do we achieve that? Is it all about having a super fancy web host?
A good web host definitely helps, but there are other things we can control. First and foremost, utilize Google PageSpeed Insights. It's free, it analyzes your website and provides specific recommendations for improving that load speed.
Okay, free and helpful, we love to see it. What else can we do?
Image optimization is crucial. Compress those images without sacrificing quality. The WebP format can really reduce those file sizes.
WebP. I'll have to add that to my list of techie terms to master. What about the code itself? Can we optimize that for faster loading times?
Absolutely. Minimizing those HTTP requests by combining your CSS and JavaScript files can make a big difference.
Okay, starting to feel a bit geeky here, but I'm following along. Is there anything else we can do to give our landing page speed a boost?
Consider using a content delivery network, a CDN. It's essentially a network of servers that distributes your website's assets more efficiently, leading to faster loading times for visitors all around the world.
So no matter where someone is browsing from, our landing page will load quickly and smoothly.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right. We've covered a lot of strategic ground here, but now I'm ready to dive into design. How can we make sure our landing pages look as good as they perform?
That's a great question. Design and layout are crucial elements in creating a landing page that converts. And first and foremost, we need to know our audience. like inside and out.
Okay, this might seem obvious, but I can see how it's easy to get caught up in design trends and kind of forget who we're designing for.
It happens more often than you think.
Yeah.
HubSpot actually found that only 42% of marketers know like basic demographics about their audience.
Ooh, that's a little concerning. So how do we get to know our audience, like, on a deeper level?
It starts with research. Utilize surveys, interviews, and analytics tools. And don't underestimate those detailed buyer personas. These fictional representations of your ideal customers can really help you understand your target audience.
So we're not just talking about age, gender, location. We're talking about their motivations, their goals, their fears, their dreams. We need to get inside their heads.
Exactly. The more we understand our target audience, the better equipped we are to create a landing page that resonates with them, on an emotional level.
Okay, audience research, check. What's next on our design checklist?
Understanding visitor source and intent. Think of it like this. You wouldn't wear a swimsuit to a job interview, right? Matching your landing page to where people are coming from is so crucial.
So, like, if someone's clicking through from a social media ad, our landing page should have a different vibe than if they're coming from, like, an email newsletter.
Absolutely.
Right.
We need to make sure that the landing page experience aligns with those expectations and objectives.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do we gather this intel? Are we talking about stalking our visitors on social media?
Not quite. UTM parameters are your best friend here. They allow you to track those traffic sources, and see where those visitors are coming from. And heat maps can be incredibly revealing. They provide like those visual representations of how people are actually interacting with your page, where they're clicking, scrolling, lingering.
Oh, so we can see what's grabbing their attention and what's falling flat.
Exactly. And A/B testing is another valuable tool for understanding user goals. Try tailoring your messaging to match that specific channel or traffic source and see what resonates.
I'm starting to see how data and experimentation play such a huge role in this whole landing page optimization thing. It's not just about design aesthetics.
You're absolutely right. Data-driven design is the key to success. And speaking of data-driven, let's talk about clarity of objectives.
Okay, I'm all ears. How do we define clear objectives for our landing pages?
It's all about asking the right questions. What's the one thing you want your landing page to achieve? Is it lead generation, driving sales, promoting a specific offer?
So we need to have that, laser focus on that one primary goal. And once we've identified that goal, how do we make sure that everything on our landing page is supporting it?
Yeah, every single element from your headline to the copy, visuals, CTA, they need to be aligned.
Got it. No unnecessary distractions or competing calls to action. Everything points toward that single conversion goal.
Exactly. And speaking of design principles, simplicity reigns supreme. A clean, uncluttered design can really work wonders for those conversion rates.
I love the sound of that. I'm all about those clean, uncluttered designs. Clutter is the enemy of conversion.
Absolutely. A cluttered landing page can be overwhelming and confusing. Think of it like a messy store. It's hard to find what you're looking for. You're more likely to just leave empty-handed.
Ooh, I love that analogy. So how do we achieve this minimalist design nirvana on our landing pages?
Embrace white space. Remember, white space isn't just empty space. It's strategic breathing room for your content. It allows your key elements to really stand out.
So it's about giving those elements room to breathe and avoiding that cramped, overwhelming feeling. What else can we do to, embrace simplicity in our design?
When it comes to forms, keep them short and sweet. Ask for essential information only. Avoid those lengthy forms that can scare people away.
Yeah, especially on mobile. Nobody wants to be, spending ages filling out a form on a tiny screen.
Exactly. And of course, your CTA needs to shine brightly. Make it prominent, clear, and irresistible.
So we're talking about strong visual hierarchy with the CTA as the star of the show. How do we achieve that?
Use contrasting colors, bold fonts, strategic placement. Make that CTA stand out from the rest of the page.
It should be like a beacon of light guiding those visitors toward their destination.
Exactly. And as always, mobile responsiveness is crucial. Our landing page needs to look and function flawlessly on any device.
Right, because a landing page that looks amazing on a desktop can be a total nightmare on a mobile phone.
Exactly. Now let's talk about above the fold content. That's the area visitors see before they start scrolling. So it's prime real estate.
Okay, I've heard about the importance of above the fold content, but I'm curious to know what elements should be included and what can be saved for later.
Think of it like a storefront window. You want to showcase those most compelling offerings right away, to entice people to step inside. Your value proposition and CTA are non-negotiables. Those need to be front and center.
Okay, so no bearing the lead. What about a headline? Should that be above the fold too?
Absolutely. A compelling headline is essential for grabbing that attention and setting the tone. Think clear, concise, and benefit-driven.
So, informative and enticing, something that makes people want to learn more.
Exactly. And don't forget those supporting visuals. A high-quality image or video can really enhance that first impression.
So no cheesy stock photos or irrelevant memes. We want visuals that are both beautiful and relevant to our message.
You got it. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about contrast. And I'm not just talking about the CTA button.
Ooh, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this power of contrast.
Strategic use of contrast can guide the eye and highlight those key elements throughout your landing page. It creates a visual hierarchy. It makes the page easy to scan.
So it's not just about making the CTA button pop. It's about using contrast to create visual interest and draw attention to specific elements like headlines or key benefits or special offers.
You nailed it. And GlowRight is a great example of this. Their landing page uses those contrasting colors to highlight different sections and draw attention to specific elements.
Interesting. What are some practical tips for using contrast effectively on our own landing pages?
The color wheel is your best friend. It can help you find complementary colors that create visual harmony. Don't be afraid to experiment with bold hues for CTAs. We want them to demand attention.
Yeah, like maybe a bright orange button on a dark blue background or a vibrant green button on a crisp white background.
Exactly. But remember, consistency is key. Your color scheme should align with your brand identity and be used consistently throughout your landing page. And of course, A/B testing is always a good idea to see what resonates.
Consistency, that's a great point. Speaking of consistency, how do we ensure a consistent brand experience, from our ads and emails to our landing page?
Consistency builds trust. It creates a seamless experience for your visitors. If your landing page looks and feels completely different from your other marketing materials, it can be jarring and lead to mistrust.
It's like walking into a store, expecting a cozy coffee shop vibe and finding yourself in a fluorescent lit electronics store. Total disconnect.
Exactly. And that disconnect can lead to lost conversions. To ensure that consistency, pay attention to those visual cues. Are your headlines and visuals aligned with the ads or emails driving traffic? Are you using consistent colors, fonts, imagery?
So if our Facebook ad features a playful illustration and a casual tone, our landing page shouldn't suddenly shift to a super formal vibe with professional headshots.
You nailed it. Consistency extends to language and tone as well. And make sure the offer on your landing page is the same as the one promised in your ads or emails.
Right, no bait and switch tactics. We want to build trust, not break it.
Exactly. Testing is key here. Try driving traffic from various sources and see if there are any jarring inconsistencies.
Okay, I'm seeing how important it is to think about the entire customer journey and create a cohesive experience, from start to finish. What else should we be mindful of when it comes to landing page design?
White space. And it's not just about making the page look pretty. It's a powerful design tool that can really impact readability and user experience.
Breathing room for content. I love that phrase. It makes so much sense.
And one of the best examples of effective white space usage is AnyRoad. Their landing page is clean, uncluttered, visually appealing. Thanks in part to that strategic use of white space. They understand that it's not just empty space, it's an essential design element.
I'm noticing a trend here. Simplicity, clarity, and a focus on user experience seem to be those recurring themes in successful landing page design.
You're catching on. So, how do we make sure we're using white space effectively on our own landing pages?
Okay, I'm ready for those actionable tips. Give me the white space wisdom.
First, avoid overcrowding. Resist the urge to cram every inch of space with text and images. Give those elements room to breathe.
No wall of text syndrome allowed. What else can we do?
Pay attention to spacing. Space out sections, elements create balance and hierarchy.
So it's not just about having that blank space, it's about using it strategically.
You got it. And don't forget those margins and padding. They can make a big difference in how your content is perceived.
Okay, starting to feel like a design pro here.
And as always, testing is key. Try different layouts, white space distributions, see what works best.
A/B testing, our trusty sidekick in the quest for landing page perfection. It seems like testing is essential for almost every aspect of this process.
You're right. Testing allows you to make data-driven decisions and continuously improve those results. Speaking of data-driven decisions, let's talk about audience segmentation. Not all visitors are created equal.
That's true. We might have, multiple target audiences, each with their own unique needs and desires. How do we tailor our landing pages to these different groups?
Tailoring your landing page, to specific segments can significantly boost those conversions. Instead of trying to create like a one-size-fits-all message, consider creating multiple landing pages, each targeted to a specific audience.
So instead of trying to appeal to everyone, we're honing in on those specific pain points and desires of each group.
Precisely. Mogul.io is a great example of this. They segment based on use case, targeting SaaS founders and CEOs with a specific landing page.
Ooh, that's a smart approach. It allows you to really tailor your messaging and your offers to resonate.
Exactly. And there are several ways to achieve that segmentation magic. You can create separate landing pages, use dynamic content, or even optimize your CTAs for each segment.
Dynamic content sounds intriguing. How does that work?
So imagine this. A visitor lands on your landing page, and based on their demographics, their past behavior, location, the content dynamically changes to be more relevant.
Oh, so it's like the landing page is morphing in real time to create that personalized experience.
You got it. It's a powerful way to make those visitors feel seen and understood, which can really increase engagement and those conversions.
Okay, I'm definitely adding dynamic content to my landing page toolkit. What about those CTAs? Should we tailor those for different audience segments too?
Absolutely. Instead of using a generic CTA for everyone, try creating CTAs that are specific to each segment's needs, their interests.
So, like, if we're targeting both small business owners and enterprise-level clients, we might have different CTAs for each group, highlighting the specific benefits.
Exactly. And remember, you can actually use data to inform your segmentation strategy. Analyze your website traffic and your customer data to identify patterns and create segments based on demographics, behavior, or purchase history.
Data-driven segmentation, we love to see it. Now let's talk about directional cues. How can we subtly guide those eyeballs toward, the prize?
Think of it like a treasure map, leading to that conversion goal. Directional cues can help guide visitors through your landing page and make it easier for them to take action.
So we're talking about visual cues that subtly say, like, hey, look over here, this is important.
Exactly. Arrows pointing to CTAs or forms are a classic example. But you can also use image positioning, visual hierarchy with fonts, colors, or even clever use of white space.
It's like we're creating a visual path for visitors to follow, leading them straight to that conversion goal.
You nailed it. And as always, A/B testing is crucial for figuring out which directional cues are most effective.
Okay, directional cues, check. Now let's talk about the dynamic duo that can make or break a landing page: headlines and CTAs.
Ah, yes, the heavy hitters. A killer headline grabs that attention, and a compelling CTA seals the deal.
It's like a 1-2 punch of marketing magic. Let's start with headlines. What makes a truly effective landing page headline?
First, alignment. Your headline needs to be aligned with your overall campaign, for consistency and trust. If your ad promises a free trial, your landing page headline should echo that promise.
So we're not just trying to be clever or catchy, we're trying to create a seamless experience that builds trust.
Exactly. And clarity is paramount. Happy Forms is a great example. Their headline is straightforward, benefit-driven. It instantly tells you what they offer.
I love that approach. Clear and concise, no need to be cryptic. What else should we keep in mind when we're, crafting our headlines?
Specificity is your friend. Consider Sunbasket's landing page headline. It offers a specific discount on those first 4 deliveries. That level of detail just makes the offer feel more tangible and valuable.
It's like saying, hey, here's exactly what you'll get. No ambiguity.
Precisely. And don't be afraid to highlight your unique selling proposition. Salesforce does this brilliantly. Their headlines often focus on what sets them apart.
So instead of just saying, we offer CRM solutions, they might say, boost sales productivity with the world's #1 CRM.
You nailed it. It's about owning that differentiation. And remember, your headline also needs to match visitor expectations.
Right, because we're not just writing for ourselves here. We need to understand our target audience, speak their language. If someone is searching for eco-friendly cleaning products, a headline that says, chemical-free solutions for every home might not resonate as strongly as eco-friendly cleaning products that work wonders.
Exactly. You want to use the keywords and phrases that your target audience is actually using. And once again, it's all about those benefits over features.
Okay, we've heard that mantra before, but I'm ready for a deeper dive into benefit-driven headlines. How do we effectively translate those features into benefits?
So a feature-focused headline like AI-powered analytics software might not be as compelling as make smarter business decisions with AI insights. See, instead of just listing those technical specs, we paint a picture of how their life or business will be better thanks to our product or service.
It's like that old saying, sell the sizzle, not the steak.
Exactly. Focus on the outcomes. Focus on the solutions.
Okay, I'm seeing the light. Benefits over features, check. What else can we do to make our copy more engaging? Can we use those emotional triggers?
Absolutely. Using words that evoke curiosity, excitement, or urgency can significantly enhance engagement. Think about headlines like, discover the secret to effortless fitness, or last chance to save 50%, offer ends tonight.
Ooh, I love a good sense of urgency. It definitely creates that I need to act now feeling.
And Nordstrom is a master of using urgency, especially during those sales events.
Makes sense. Now what about power words and keywords? I know those are important for SEO. How do we incorporate those into our headlines without sounding spammy?
Incorporating power words like free, proven, guaranteed, instant can make your headlines more compelling and action-oriented.
Yeah, those words definitely pack a punch. They make you want to click that button.
And strategically placing those SEO-friendly keywords can help your landing page rank higher. It's all about finding that sweet spot, being persuasive, but also being search engine friendly.
Keywords, strategically and sparingly. Now let's move on to those all-important CTAs. What makes a CTA truly irresistible?
Just like headlines, clarity is crucial.
Yeah.
Home Chefs is a great example. Their CTAs are very straightforward. Pick your meals, take our quiz, you know exactly what's going to happen when you click.
Yeah, there's no ambiguity there. You know exactly what action you're taking and what you will receive. What other tips do you have for crafting compelling CTAs?
Avoid vague language like click here. Instead, use like action-oriented and specific text like download your free guide or start your free trial. Tell people what action to take, make it super easy for them to follow through.
Okay, so clear, concise, action-oriented. What about conveying value? How do we make sure our CTA answers the question, why should I click this?
You want to highlight that benefit or outcome. You know what they'll receive when they take that action.
So instead of just saying learn more, we could say get your free guide to doubling your website traffic.
Exactly. Checkbox offers another great example. Their CTA clearly shows that benefit.
Generate legally binding documents in minutes. Who wouldn't want that?
Right. And if we wanted to create a sense of urgency, we could even add something like limited time offer, claim your spot. FOMO strikes again.
Works every time. Now let's talk about visibility. Your CTA should stand out on the page. You know it shouldn't blend in. It should be like a beacon guiding those visitors toward that conversion goal. Okay, so how do we achieve that, beacon effect?
Placement is key. Make sure your CTA is prominent, ideally above the fold. Use those visual cues, bold fonts, contrasting colors. You can even use a bit of animation to draw attention.
So we're talking about that visual hierarchy where the CTA is king.
You got it. And when it comes to button color, research from CXL suggests that red CTAs actually often outperform green ones. Red is the color of action, excitement.
Okay, red buttons it is. What about white space? Does that play a role in CTA visibility?
Absolutely. Giving your CTA some breathing room can make it stand out even more. Avoid cluttering that area around your CTA with too many other elements.
Okay, so we've covered clarity, value, visibility. What about building trust with our CTAs?
One of the biggest mistakes you can make is creating that bait and switch. If your CTA says, download free ebook, but then it redirects users to a paid product page, you're going to erode trust, lose potential customers.
That's shady. Transparency is key. We need to make sure that the action promise in the CTA actually matches the user experience.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of visual appeal.
We're talking about making those CTAs look as good as they sound.
Yeah. Think about clean designs, rounded edges, subtle hover effects, anything that makes the button look, inviting.
It's like those easy open tabs on packaging. You can't resist pulling them.
Exactly. Well-designed CTAs make it easier for visitors to take action.
Love that analogy. Now, what about the copy itself? How do we make sure our CTA copy is as persuasive as possible? Should we just say, sign up or learn more? Or is there something, a bit more compelling?
You could try focusing on the outcome or result. What do users want to achieve? Instead of that generic sign up, consider something like join thousands of happy customers or start your free trial and see results today.
Oh, so instead of just telling people to do something, we're like painting a picture of the benefits they'll experience. What about mobile optimization? How do we make sure our CTAs are mobile friendly?
That's a great point. Make sure those buttons are large enough to, tap easily on smaller screens. Avoid placing them in areas that require like a lot of scrolling.
Yeah, nobody wants to be squinting at a tiny button or scrolling forever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about the overall user experience. We want to make sure it feels as good as it looks.
Okay, I'm ready for a UX deep dive. Where do we begin?
Minimalism is a good starting point. Keep that design, clean, uncluttered. Bray actually offers a fantastic example. Their landing page features a limited color palette, strategic white space, and a very prominent CTA. Everything is designed to guide the eye and make it super easy to digest.
I love how they managed to convey a lot of information without feeling cluttered. It feels streamlined and user-friendly.
It is. So how do we embrace this minimalist approach, on our own landing pages?
Okay, I'm ready for those minimalist design tips.
First and foremost, be ruthless. Get rid of anything unnecessary. If it's not directly contributing to your conversion goal, it's got to go.
So we're talking about mercilessly cutting anything that's distracting or irrelevant.
Exactly. And when it comes to color, less is more. Stick to a limited palette, like 2 or 3 colors to create a cohesive, visually appealing look.
No rainbow explosions of color. Got it. What about white space? I know we've talked about it before, but I'm always eager to hear more about, the magic of white space.
White space is your best friend. Use it strategically. Create breathing room, guide the eye, highlight those key elements. It's about finding that balance, providing enough information, but avoiding that overwhelm.
Okay, I'm starting to see the pattern here. White space is like the duct tape of web design. It fixes everything.
And remember that CTA. It needs to stand out, make sure it pops from the rest of the page, maybe use a bold color, clear, action-oriented text.
So visual hierarchy. The CTA is at the top of the pyramid.
Exactly. And lastly, keep that design straightforward. Avoid overly complex layouts or fancy design elements that might distract from your message.
Simplicity, clarity, and that focus on user experience, those seem to be the guiding principles here.
Absolutely. And speaking of user experience, let's talk about minimizing distractions. Did you know that minimizing distractions can actually boost conversions by 10%?
Wow, that's significant. How do we create this distraction-free zone on our landing pages?
First, rethink those navigation menus. They can be a major distraction, especially if they're, loaded with tons of links and drop-downs.
Yeah, it's like a rabbit hole of options.
Uh-huh.
I know I've definitely gotten lost in those navigation menus before and forgotten, what I was doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So instead of that busy navigation menu, try replacing it with, a single prominent CTA button. Keep them focused.
That's where we're removing those temptations to wander off.
Exactly. And be mindful of multimedia. Autoplay videos or flashy animations can be distracting, especially if the audio suddenly starts blaring.
Oh, nobody wants to be surprised by a loud video.
And keep those design elements clean and simple. We want those visuals to enhance, not distract.
So not crazy flashing GIFs or busy graphics that make the page feel chaotic.
Exactly. Simplify those forms. Only ask for essential information and use those optional fields sparingly. The goal is to make the process as smooth and as frictionless as possible.
Okay, distraction-free zone. Check. Now, let's talk about consistency. Not just in terms of branding, but also in user experience. How do we create, a seamless, consistent experience from the moment someone clicks on, our ad or email, to the moment they land on our landing page?
Consistency is all about building trust. Monday.com actually does a great job of this. Their PPC ad copy perfectly matches their landing page copy. It just creates this cohesive, trustworthy experience.
It's like a breath of fresh air when the landing page actually lives up to the promises in the ad. It makes you feel like you're in good hands.
Exactly. So how do we create that same sense of trust and consistency on our own landing pages?
Okay, I'm ready for that consistency checklist.
Start by paying attention to those visual cues. Are the colors, tone, messaging, visuals, are they consistent with the ad that brought people there?
So if my Facebook ad features a playful illustration and a casual tone, my landing page shouldn't have a super formal vibe, right? With professional headshots.
You nailed it. And pay attention to fonts. Consistent fonts, across your marketing materials create that sense of unity.
It's like having a signature style.
Yeah.
Consistency breeds familiarity.
Exactly. Now let's talk about data collection. Yeah. We want to gather those valuable leads, but we also want to respect people's privacy.
It's a delicate balance. How do we strike that balance between gathering the info we need and avoiding those like intrusive, lengthy forms that can scare people away?
WAG is a great example of like how to do this well. Their form is super short and user-friendly. They only ask for the essentials.
I'm all about short forms. Those long forms are definitely a conversion killer.
Absolutely. So ask yourself, do you really need their phone number at this stage? Their date of birth?
Unless you're offering like a phone consultation or like a birthday discount. But yeah, in most cases, less is more.
Exactly. And if you do have those optional fields, use them sparingly. Always explain why you're asking for certain data. Transparency builds trust.
Okay, transparency is key. People are more likely to share their info if they understand why you need it.
Now let's talk about mobile optimization. We can't ignore those mobile users. They account for a significant amount of traffic these days.
I know, I do most of my browsing on my phone. If a website's not mobile friendly, I'm like, out of there.
You're not alone. Over 60% of all website traffic is from mobile devices.
Wow. That's a huge percentage. So if our landing pages aren't optimized for mobile, we're potentially alienating a majority of our audience.
Exactly. Mobile optimization is no longer like a nice to have. It's essential.
Okay, I'm ready for a crash course in mobile optimization. What are the essential elements?
First and foremost, responsive design. Your landing page needs to adapt to any screen size, whether it's desktop, tablet, smartphone.
So no more tiny fonts, squished images, or like horizontal scrolling nightmares.
Exactly. And remember to test, make sure your landing page looks good and functions flawlessly across those various devices.
Right, because not everyone has the latest technology. What else can we do to create that, delightful mobile experience?
Think about those thumbs. Your buttons need to be large enough to tap easily.
Thumb-friendly design. I love it. What about scrolling? Should we be minimizing that on mobile?
Absolutely. Nobody wants to scroll endlessly. Keep those key elements, above the fold or at least within easy reach.
So short and sweet. Right, that's the goal.
Exactly. And single column designs are your best friend on mobile. They're easier to scan, navigate. Think of it like a clear vertical flow.
Okay, single column layouts for mobile. Got it. What about readability? Any specific tips for making our copy easy to read, on the smaller screens?
Absolutely. Break up those long paragraphs, use bullet points liberally, and choose a font size that's easy on the eyes.
So we're aiming for a mobile experience that's, both enjoyable and effective.
Exactly. Now let's talk about visual hierarchy and readability across all devices.
Okay, because a well-structured landing page is a happy landing page, regardless of the screen size.
You're right. We want to make sure our landing page is easy to scan, easy to digest. Visitors can quickly find the information they need.
So no walls of text or confusing jumbles of information.
Exactly. So create that clear visual hierarchy. Start with a bold, attention-grabbing headline. Follow it with concise subheadings, body text. Think of it like a roadmap.
So like a clear hierarchy helps create a sense of order, makes it easier to navigate. What else can we do to enhance readability?
Don't be afraid to use white space to break up those chunks of text. White space is your friend. Use it generously.
Always there to save the day. It really is a versatile design element.
Yeah. And readability is paramount. Use those short paragraphs, bullet points, and limit your font choices to, 2 or 3 for consistency.
So we're aiming for that, visually appealing and easy to read experience that's both informative and engaging.
Exactly. And remember, people tend to scan content online in an F-shaped pattern. Place your most important information along that path to increase visibility.
Oh, that's interesting. So we need to think about how people's eyes are naturally moving across the page. And don't forget about visuals. Images, illustrations, and videos can help break up that text and make the page, more visually appealing.
You got it. Visuals can play a huge role in enhancing engagement and make your landing page more memorable.
Okay, so visual hierarchy, readability, strategic use of visuals. Check. Now let's move on to the art of persuasive copywriting. How do we craft that landing page copy that's not just informative, but downright captivating?
The foundation of any persuasive copy is a clear, concise value proposition. You need to make it instantly clear why people should care.
No burying the lead. Value proposition front and center. Do you have any examples of landing pages that, do this well?
Absolutely. Take a look at Asana's pricing page, which also functions as a landing page. They brilliantly communicate their value proposition, highlighting the key benefits very concisely.
Wow. That's impressive. I love how they managed to convey so much in so few words.
It's a great example of the power of brevity. So how do we make sure our value propositions are just as, clear and impactful?
Okay, I'm all ears. Give me those copywriting tips.
Use your headlines and subheadings strategically. This is prime real estate, for communicating the core value. Think clear, concise, and benefit-driven.
Okay, so no vague or generic statements. We need to highlight those benefits.
Exactly. So instead of saying like top software solutions, try something like increase productivity by 30% with our time-saving tools.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Specific, measurable, benefit-driven.
And remember, speak your audience's language. Use terms and phrases they can relate to. Address their specific pain points.
Right. We need to make sure our copy resonates. It's not about sounding clever or using jargon. It's about connecting.
Exactly. And speaking of connecting, let's talk about highlighting those benefits over features.
Okay. We've heard this before, but I'm always up for a refresher. How do we effectively translate those features into tangible benefits? Things that our audience will actually care about.
Remember, people are way more interested in what your product can do for them, not just its technical specs. So a headline that says AI-powered analytics software might not be as compelling as make smarter business decisions with AI insights.
It's like that old saying, sell the sizzle, not the steak.
Exactly. So paint that picture. Show how their life or business will be better.
Okay, I'm seeing the light. Benefits over features, check. What else can we do? Can we use those emotional triggers?
Absolutely. Using words that evoke curiosity, excitement, or urgency that can really enhance engagement. Think about headlines like, discover the secret to effortless fitness, or last chance to save 50%. Offer ends tonight.
Ooh, I love a good sense of urgency. It definitely creates that, I need to act now feeling.
Nordstrom is a master at using urgency, especially during those sales events.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, what about those power words and keywords? I know those are important for SEO. How do we incorporate them without sounding spammy?
You can incorporate power words like free, proven, guaranteed, or instant. Those can make your copy more compelling.
Yeah, those words definitely pack a punch.
And strategically placing those SEO-friendly keywords can help your landing page rank higher in those search results. It's about finding that sweet spot.
Got it. Keywords, strategically and sparingly. But what about readability? People's attention spans are, shorter than ever. How do we make sure our copy is easy to scan and digest?
That's a great point. We live in a world of information overload. Nobody has time to, wade through those dense paragraphs, so we need to make sure our copy is skimmable.
Okay, I'm all ears. Give me those skimmability tips.
Think about how people actually read online. They scan, so embrace those bullet points. They're your best friend.
Bullet points are a classic for a reason.
Exactly. And bold text, too, to highlight key phrases. It helps draw the eye.
So it's all about creating a visually appealing experience. What about sentence structure? Are there any specific tips for writing for the web?
Keep those sentences short and sweet. Avoid run-on sentences, complex grammar, and ditch the jargon or technical terms your audience might not understand.
We want to be clear, accessible, not confusing or intimidating.
Now let's talk about visuals. They're not just about making the page look pretty, right? They can play a huge role.
Right. It's like that old saying, show, don't tell.
Exactly. So instead of just telling people about the benefits, you can show them those benefits in action, through visuals.
So instead of saying our software is easy to use, we might show a video of someone, effortlessly navigating the interface.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
And when choosing visuals, always make sure they're high quality and relevant.
Okay, so no cheesy stock photos or irrelevant memes.
You got it. And consider using a variety of those visual formats. A mix of photos, illustrations, videos can create that more dynamic and engaging experience.
Okay, loving those visual tips. But what about SEO? How do we make sure our copy is both persuasive and easily discoverable by, search engines?
That's a great question. One of the most important aspects is keyword optimization.
Right. We need to make sure those search engines know what our page is all about. Where do we even begin?
Start by conducting thorough keyword research. Use tools like, Keyword Magic Tool to identify those terms your audience is actually using.
Okay, so we're not just guessing, we're using data.
Precisely. And once you've identified those target keywords, incorporate them naturally. Headlines, subheadings, body text, even those image alt texts.
Got it. Keywords everywhere. But there's a fine line, right, between using keywords effectively and going overboard. How do we avoid that keyword stuffing?
You're right to be wary of keyword stuffing. It's crucial to use them strategically and naturally. Think about how your audience would search, and incorporate those keywords in a way that feels natural, reader-friendly.
So it's about writing for humans first and search engines second.
Exactly. And don't forget about those meta descriptions. They're like those little snippets of text that appear below your page title in search results. They're like mini ads.
Oh, so they need to be informative, but also enticing, right? Like a little teaser.
You got it. Use those meta descriptions to highlight that unique value proposition.
Okay, meta descriptions. Check. And last but not least, let's talk about keeping things simple.
Simplicity is golden. Clarity, conciseness, and a focus on user experience are key.
So no jargon, no fluff, no overly complex sentences.
Exactly. Use plain language that everyone can understand, get straight to the point.
It's like Marie Kondoing our landing page copy, keeping only what sparks joy.
I love that analogy. And remember, trust is built through transparency, authenticity. Speak to your audience, like human beings.
So we're ditching that marketing speak, embracing a more like conversational tone.
Exactly. And when in doubt, err on the side of simplicity. Now let's shift gears and talk about the elements that can bring your landing pages to life. Visuals and multimedia.
Okay, bring on the visual feast. I'm ready to learn how to make our landing pages, unforgettable.
Visuals and multimedia are powerful tools. They can really capture attention, enhance the user experience, and boost those conversions. But it's important to use them strategically.
So we're not just throwing like random images and videos onto the page.
Exactly. Remember, we're competing for attention, online. And your visuals need to stand out.
Right. People are bombarded with visual stimuli all day long, so we need to make sure our visuals are, eye-catching.
He's got like seconds to make an impression, right? So visuals are your secret weapon to stop those scrolls. Think high-quality images, captivating videos, informative infographics, anything that grabs attention.
So no, like boring stock photos or generic illustrations. We got to bring the wow factor.
Exactly. And think beyond those static images.
Yeah.
Videos, animations, infographics, these can create a much more dynamic and engaging experience.
Right. It's about creating that multi-sensory experience.
And multimedia can significantly enhance the user experience as well. Think about interactive elements, seamless transitions, and a visually appealing flow. Make your landing page a joy to explore.
So it's not just about like slapping a random video on the page. It's about using these things strategically to, guide the eye, create a cohesive narrative.
Exactly. And don't forget about the impact on conversions. Studies actually show that videos on landing pages can increase conversions by 86%.
Wow, that's huge. Okay, so videos are a must-have for landing pages.
They're definitely a valuable asset.
Okay.
Seeing is believing. Videos can demonstrate your product, build those emotional connections, and they can actually reduce hesitation.
It's like a virtual test drive, for your product or service.
Exactly. And videos aren't just for product demos. Explainer videos are fantastic. They can break down complex information. And research shows that 96% of video marketers say that video has helped boost user understanding.
Okay, so videos can make complex information more digestible and boost engagement. What other superpowers do visuals possess?
Sometimes words just aren't enough, right, to effectively communicate an idea. Visuals, animations, they can bring those abstract ideas to life.
It's like showing, not telling, but on a whole new level.
Exactly. And when it comes to showcasing your product, visuals are essential. A high-quality product photo or video can really make a huge difference in a potential customer's decision.
Right. A picture is worth 1,000 words. A video is worth even more.
Exactly. If you have a product that's complex or have unique features, a video can give potential customers a virtual tour. Research shows that 88% of marketers say video has helped increase product understanding.
So we're not just making our landing pages more, like, visually appealing. We're helping people make more informed decisions.
Precisely. And lastly, let's talk about engagement. We want people to stick around, explore, and ultimately take action. And engaging visuals are key.
Right, because if people are, bouncing off our page after a few seconds, it's a sign that something's not working. We need to capture their attention.
Exactly. Research shows that people spend 2.6 times longer on pages with video, and that increased engagement can lead to increased brand awareness, better information retention, and ultimately more conversions.
Okay. I'm officially sold on the power of visuals, but I have a feeling you're about to bring me back down to earth with a dose of reality.
Well, even with the best intentions, it's easy to make mistakes. So let's talk about some common landing page pitfalls we should, try to avoid.
Bring on those landing page landmines. I want to be prepared.
All right, first up, the buried CTA. Don't hide your call to action. It should be prominent, easily accessible.
So above the fold, bold colors, action-oriented text. We covered all that. What other traps should we watch out for?
Trying to do too much. Too many goals on one landing page can dilute your message. Focus on one primary goal and make sure everything supports that goal.
It's like trying to juggle too many balls at once. Eventually, they're all going to come crashing down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about copywriting. Generic, uninspired copy that's a surefire way to, send visitors running for the hills.
Nobody wants to read, a boring sales pitch.
Exactly. We need to speak to those needs and desires. Use language that resonates.
No more, like blah, blah, blah.
You nailed it. And speaking of headlines, vague headlines are another common pitfall. Grab attention with headlines that are clear, compelling, and benefit-driven.
So instead of something generic like the best software solutions, we might say something like boost productivity and save time with our all-in-one platform.
Perfect. That's specific. It's benefit-driven, and it's action-oriented. What about CTAs? How many is too many?
I have a feeling you're going to say less is more.
You're right. CTA overload can lead to decision fatigue. So focus on one primary CTA, maybe a few secondary ones if you need them. But avoid overwhelming those visitors.
It's like a well-designed menu, a few enticing choices, but not so many that you just order the same thing you always do.
Perfect analogy. Now let's revisit our old friend, clutter. Ah, yes, clutter, the enemy of conversion. I'm ready for a clutter-busting lesson.
Keep your landing page design, clean, uncluttered. White space is your friend.
Okay, so sticking with that minimalist approach, plenty of breathing room. Simplicity seems to be a recurring theme here. It is. And remember, a clear value proposition is crucial. If your landing page fails to communicate that value, visitors won't convert.
So, no burying the lead. We need to back it up with compelling copy, strong visuals, a clear call to action.
Exactly. And lastly, we can't forget about page load speed.
The silent conversion killer. We talked about this before.
Absolutely. In today's fast-paced world, every second counts. If your landing page takes too long, visitors will just leave.
No patience for slow-loading websites.
So make sure you're optimizing those images, leveraging browser caching, minimizing code.
Okay, speed, check. What about color and graphics? Can you have too much of a good thing?
Absolutely. While visuals are important, going overboard can actually be distracting.
Right. It's like trying to read a neon sign, in a disco. It's just too much.
Exactly. Stick to a cohesive color scheme. Align with your brand, and use graphics strategically.
Okay, so visually appealing and balanced design guides the eye, reinforces the message.
Precisely. Now that we've covered those pitfalls, let's talk about how to measure the effectiveness of our landing pages and continually improve them.
Okay, I'm all ears. Data is our superpower. We want to make sure we're making, smart decisions based on real insights.
You got it. The first step is to define your goals, define your metrics. What are we trying to achieve? What metrics tell us if we're succeeding?
Right, because you can't improve what you don't measure.
So if our goal is to generate leads, we might track the conversion rate, the bounce rate, the number of form submissions.
So we're talking about setting clear objectives and then choosing those metrics to track our progress.
Precisely. And once we have those metrics in place, we can start experimenting, see what resonates and drives those results.
Ah, A/B testing, our trusty sidekick. I'm excited to dive into that.
A/B testing is all about comparing two variations, like the headline or that CTA button, and seeing which one performs better.
So we're talking about, making one small change at a time and seeing how it impacts our key metrics.
Exactly. And multivariate testing takes it a step further. It lets you test multiple changes at the same time.
So, if we wanted to test different combinations of headlines, images, CTA buttons, multivariate testing would give us those insights?
Precisely. And don't underestimate those heat maps and eye tracking tools.
Ooh, those sound fancy. Tell me more.
These tools provide insights into, how people are interacting. Heat maps show you where people are clicking, scrolling, lingering. Eye tracking tools track their eye movements.
So we can see what's grabbing attention. It's like having X-ray vision.
Exactly. And that information can help you identify areas for improvement. For example, if people are ignoring your CTA button, you might need to reposition it.
It's like having a secret window into their minds. What other tools or techniques can help us gather those insights?
Don't underestimate those surveys and feedback tools. Sometimes the best insights come straight from the source.
Right. Why guess when you can just ask?
Exactly. So, use on-page surveys, pop-up feedback requests, even conduct user interviews. Ask them what they like, what they dislike, what they want to see improved.
It's all about gathering those like real-world insights and making data-driven decisions.
And when it comes to that data analysis, Google Analytics is your best friend. It's the ultimate tool.
Ah, yes, the holy grail of web analytics.
It provides a wealth of information: traffic sources, bounce rate, time on page, conversion rate. You can see where your traffic is coming from, how long people are staying, and how many people are actually taking action.
So we can track those key metrics and see if we're actually achieving those goals.
Exactly. And make sure you're actually setting up goals in Google Analytics to track those specific conversions.
Right, because we need to know if people are, signing up for that email list or downloading the ebook.
And speaking of engagement, time on page is a valuable metric to keep an eye on. If people are bouncing off your page after a few seconds, it's a sign that something's not working.
Yeah, maybe our headline isn't compelling enough or our page is loading too slowly.
It can definitely reveal those red flags. And if people are spending a lot of time on your page, it suggests that they're engaged and more likely to, actually convert.
Yeah. So we want to create that experience that's both, informative and captivating. We want people to stick around and explore.
Precisely. And lastly, don't forget about tracking those traffic sources. Knowing where your visitors are coming from can help you tailor that experience.
Right, because someone coming from a social media ad might be looking for something different than someone like clicking through from an email.
Yeah.
And we can use that information to create like a more personalized experience.
Exactly. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into landing page optimization. But before we wrap up, I want to share some helpful tools that can, streamline your efforts.
Okay. Bring on those tech tools. I'm always looking for ways to boost my productivity.
First up, we have Fiber AI. This AI-powered tool, it analyzes user behavior on your landing page and suggests those data-driven improvements.
So it's like having a virtual landing page consultant, like on demand.
Exactly. And if you're looking for deeper insights into that user behavior, Hotjar is a fantastic option. It provides those heat maps, session recordings, feedback surveys.
Like having a backstage pass to your website.
Precisely. And for those who prefer a no-code approach, Unbounce is fantastic. It features a drag-and-drop editor, A/B testing, and even AI-powered optimization.
So even if you're not like a tech wizard, you can still create, high-converting landing pages. What about Google Analytics? That's like a must-have for marketers, right?
Absolutely. It's the gold standard. It provides that comprehensive suite of tools.
It's like having a personal data analyst.
Exactly. And lastly, for those looking to really supercharge that SEO, RF is an amazing resource. It provides in-depth keyword research, backlink analysis, and even competitor insights.
It sounds like RFs can really give us an edge in the competitive world of SEO.
Absolutely. And remember, this is just a glimpse. You can actually find detailed reviews of our top 10 recommended tools on our website.
Okay, I'll definitely check those out. Wow, we covered a lot today. From crafting those killer headlines, optimizing for mobile, harnessing the power of visuals and data. You've given us a ton of landing page best practices.
And remember, the landscape of, digital marketing is always evolving.
Mm-hmm.
What works today might need tweaking tomorrow. So stay curious, keep testing.
That's great advice. It's all about embracing that, growth mindset.
Exactly. And if you have any questions, you know where to find us.
Now go forth and create landing pages that convert. Thanks for sharing all of your insights with us today. It's been an enlightening journey.
My pleasure. Remember, landing page optimization is an ongoing process. So keep experimenting, keep learning, and keep those conversions flowing.
Thanks for tuning in. That's it for this episode of Mind Your Conversions, brought to you by Fiber. I hope you are leaving with fresh ideas and strategies to take your marketing and your conversions to the next level. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave us a review. Thanks for listening. Until then, take care, and we'll see you next time.